Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2025 BMW M440i. This is the LCI, so the refresh for this 4 Series. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this car for me today. Take a look at the website, that link is down in the description. So this 440i is finished off in Alpine White. MSRP is just over $70,000. Now this is powered by the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's now paired to a 48-volt hybrid electric system, along with the 8-speed automatic, pumps out 386 horsepower, 398 pound-feet of torque. This model here is rear-wheel drive, weighs in right around 3,800 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. Top speed is 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 15.6 gallons. You'll expect to see around 24 miles per gallon in the city, 32 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 112.2 inches. Its overall length is 188. It has a width of 72.9, a height of 54.6. Its ground clearance also measures in right around 5 inches. And for the LCI model, we have a lot of exterior changes as well as a few interior changes to go over. So as we work our way back to the front fascia, you'll notice that the grille is slightly different. The headlights are also all new as well, with a really nice dark housing. They feature the LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals, of course. But this model here you can now get with all of the M Sport packages. So you can get all the gloss black up front, which is on that grille. There's also the forward-facing camera, all of the sensors, even active grille shutters just behind them to provide even more cooling. There's a sensor down below for the adaptive cruise, and then more gloss black accents with the parking sensors on both sides. There's also another inlet on the far section there just to provide better airflow. And then some very nice lines that come down the hood to meet the top of that grille very nicely. Now, as we work our way to the side, there's more gloss black for these new wheels. So very nice design with the red M Sport brake calipers just behind that. There's gloss black for the side mirrors, which also feature the turn signal and the camera. And this even has a sunroof up top. There's more gloss black for all of the window trim. And being the coupe, of course, has that nice coupe design to it. There's also some really nice lines in that lower side skirt as well, and a large window in the back there for your rear passengers. Now, as we work our way to the back, this has new laser taillights with the illuminated glass fiber bundles. So you'll notice they are lighting up right now as I get in proximity of the vehicle. And then this has LED taillights as well. But that is a really neat design to see in some of the newer BMW models. Now there's also a backup camera, all of these sensors. There's the dual exhaust with more gloss black and the diffuser down in the lower section. Now you can also remote start this vehicle. You just use the key fob in order to turn it on and to turn it off. You can also use the key fob or the button up underneath to open up the power trunk lid. And then with the amount of cargo space that this coupe has, it's actually surprisingly large. Now there's no storage underneath the floor, but you do get a storage bin on both sides, and you can even fold down the back seats. So pull those tabs on both sides, and that gives you a lot more interior space to make this that much more practical. Now up top, you can close the trunk. You can also lock the vehicle at the same time. And as we work our way to the interior, we do have the door handle where you can lock and unlock it. We have a very nice interior for this model. It has Harman Kardon for the audio, there's brushed aluminum accents, and then the red leather and the stitching with black leather too. There's memory seating adjustments, the power side mirror control, and then there's a release for the trunk as well as storage down below. And take a look at these beautiful seats. I think that's a really nice accent with the red, with these power operated seats. There is one manual adjustment for the leg support that you can control as needed. Now this is a 4-seater, so let's move that backrest where the seat will actually work its way forwards, allowing me enough space to hop into the back. So at 5'10", it's not honestly all that bad. We have plenty of legroom. There's also some climate vents there. My head is just up against the headliner here, but I can pretty much sit upright, so I could ride around town. There's an armrest, a little bit of storage, and then there's also cup holders right in the middle. So you can pull this down where you have the cup holders along with the armrest, and you can even fold down this middle seat individually. So not all that bad if and when you have to ride in the back. So it makes it a practical sports car to have that extra interior space and to hold more people. The steering wheel is also new for this M440i. Flat bottom design to it with that red stripe up top. It's finished in solid black leather with all of the colors that are stitched within it. And then a really cool design for the lower spoke here. But let's turn this on, start it up, and let's get some revs for this M440i. And coming back to the digital gauge cluster, with the current layout, miles per hour is on the left side, right side is the tach, and then there's some information right in the middle that you can go through using this scrolling dial here. There's also volume tuning, and you have Bluetooth and voice commands. But as I push on the lower button here, now we can use that rotary dial to go through all of this content. So you can take a look at all this information, just depending on what you need to see for the day. You can pull up your map, G-force meter. You also have music too. Now you can also view this information with a different layout. So we'll go to 2 others here, just depending on how you want to view this. And then the last one is for the head-up display, where you have a few different options that you can pull up with your directional, your standard, and your sport view to show the tach. Now this also has brushed aluminum paddle shifters, and then cruise and adaptive cruise is on the left side there. There's all the headlight adjustments along with a dimmer switch on that left side as well. New design for the air vent controls. And then as we move on to the infotainment system now, you can tell this is the all-new curved screen from BMW. We have all the controls located in the lower section. So we can get to home, or we can scroll through some info on this left side. So we have that split style that you can go into. There's a shortcut to your music. You can also get into a ton of apps. So there's Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, you have your climate controls, interior lighting. You can go through quite a lot of information. There's also your climate adjustments, we have navigation, and then music is the last shortcut. Now if you push on the climates on both sides, we can get into the heated steering wheel for your driver, as well as the heated seats, and then we have temperature dials located down below as well. Now you can use all of the controls down below to further go through that. So we have shortcuts here where you can quickly get into all this information, so you don't have to use it as a touchscreen system, which is nice. There's also this optional trim piece that goes all the way to the passenger side there, and hopefully you can see on camera, there's actually green within that lower trim accent, which is neat to see. There's 2 air vents. We have volume and tuning, as well as some defrosters. And then when you open up this lower trim piece, we have wireless charging, cup holders, and some auxiliaries. Now for the shifter design, just push on it forwards, and now you have the 360 view. There's also shortcuts on that right side. We can also get to that 3D view and push on these shortcuts so you can see around the entire vehicle. And there's a top-down view as well. Now this also has automatic parking and the backup assistance, which is nice. If I put it into drive now and then pull on it one more time, that allows you to shift using those paddles, and then park is located right on the back. Now on this left side, there's your traction control along with a shortcut to the forward-facing camera. You have parking sensors, engine start-stop, and then you have a few different driving modes that you can get into. So there's Sport, there's also Comfort, and then you have Eco Pro. So just depending on how you'd like to drive. There's Auto Hold, Parking Brake. You have a little bit of storage with some auxiliaries there, and then plenty of storage in the glove box. Garage door buttons are located underneath the rear view mirror, and then you have a control for the sunshade and the sunroof, as well as your dome lights. And then here's a look at visibility from the driver's seat. Pretty thin pillars back there with the large rear glass. So you can even see over this left shoulder out of that back window. So plenty of visibility. As we set off now behind the wheel for the new M440i, it's been a couple years since I've been behind the wheel of one. So it's really cool to jump into this one where it's just like the rest of the BMW lineup as far as the upgrades that they have slowly been incorporating into their vehicles. So for 2025, we finally get that for the 440i. And I think this is a really good option because for the 4 Series, this gives you a lot of power without going to the M4 for that next level of performance. So this doesn't have the suspension settings or the louder exhaust or anything like that. It's a little bit more on that more comfortable, everyday style type of vehicle. You can absolutely daily drive M4s all day long. But if you're not looking for that level of performance, you just want a really nice, well-balanced sports car. Even though it is right around $70,000, the M4 is of course going to be more. But not only does this handle well, but with that 3-liter inline 6, this gives you plenty of power. So I think it's a really good blend between having that BMW performance and also having more of a laid-back 4 Series that is still practical to use every day. So let's put it into the sport mode now, and we can downshift from second gear. Here we go. Sounds really good as well. A lot of the 3-liter inline 6 cylinders from BMW, I would say, sound pretty good. Even in their stock form, you can hear that. Now, some of that could be some piped in sound. I'm not exactly sure on this model, but either way, sounds good. Paddles are super responsive as well. And I really like the fact that we have this updated steering wheel. I can't quite remember what the previous one was, but I have been in a lot of the newer models where the steering wheel, if you're using that every single day, I think this is a really nice update. It has a good size to it. And we have very nice, comfortable seats too. So it's quiet, there's not a lot of road noise or wind noise. And in sport mode, second gear, here we go. And mile acceleration, we're up to speed, and paddles are super responsive. So we have that sport automatic transmission to really give you some crisp shifts. It's also pretty smooth too. So even in the downshifts, you really don't feel it, just adding to that luxury feel for this style vehicle. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the all-new M440i. We have a very nice interior. You also have a lot of different options that you can spec for this. So just depending on your budget and what you would like, I'd say we have a pretty well optioned 440i. I think they can go a little bit more expensive than this, but like I mentioned earlier, very comfortable. I like the fact too that it's a practical sports car. A lot of people who just want one car could use this every single day. So it's nice that it gives you that well-balanced drive as well as the practicality. But it's a great interior. It's nice to drive. The drive modes are also functional as well. So if you put it into eco mode, you are not going to get as much throttle response as you are in Sport Plus. So if you're on the highway or something, or you're just not looking to have more throttle response, it is going to change. It's also going to change the gauge cluster setting, as you just saw. So we have functional driving modes and a lot of great technology to make this a great daily driver. Other than that, not a whole lot to talk about. I've been in a lot of the 4 Series as far as the M4 goes, so this isn't, again, quite on that next level, but it's a car that is going to handle well, has, I would say, a good amount of power. It's very, very healthy and adequate for this vehicle. And it's just something that's fun to drive. So if you don't want that next level hardcore M4, you can still get into a 4 Series without that added cost and that performance. Also has a really tight turning radius too. And with one last acceleration, that's going to wrap it up for the 2025 BMW M440i. Once again, a huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.